Hello, everyone. Welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and another episode of Gotham City Chronicles. Tonight, we're talking about Curse of the White Knight. With me, as always, is my partner in crime on these, Kavi, Comic Books NYC. What's going on, my man?
Hey, what's up? You know what's been going on. I've been under the weather, but I'm climbing out of it. I'm fighting hard, and I'm here, and I'm ready to talk about this incredible Sean Murphy follow-up to White Knight, Curse of the White Knight. Got all the single issues here and some variants, so I'm good to go.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better, man. I know you've been struggling a little bit, but I'm glad you're here and we're doing this. And tonight, we have a guest, BackSeatDriver5280. What's going on, man?
How's it going, everybody?
So, see you, Backseat.
Yeah, Backseat could join us tonight. So, as you said, we're going to be talking about Curse of the White Knight, and we will get into that as soon as I shout out a little bit of the chat. Not too many people showed up just yet. We got the Unruly Simeon, who is always in the house. And Kachung, what's going on? And that might be it so far. So, at least on StreamYard. so it's usually about, 30 seconds behind YouTube on the chat. So, my mouse is not wanting to work. Sorry. All right. So, yes, we are talking about Sean Gordon Murphy's follow-up to White Knight, which has become one of my favorite recent Batman stories. I was super looking forward to this, and just initial impression was I was not disappointed. This was one of the better follow-ups to a story that I've really enjoyed that I can remember. Generally, I feel like follow-ups are a bit of a disappointment. I was not disappointed by it.
I actually preferred this follow-up to the original, personally.
Really nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't quite know where I would rank it against White Knight, and I guess we'll get to that come the end of the show. But and maybe by the end of the show, I'll have a decision on that. But it felt like just like a very organic follow-up, like a White Knight Volume 2. It wasn't like it wasn't tried to completely tell a brand new story. It was telling a continuation of the previous volume. But what separated it from the previous volume is you got more, I guess, historical backstory to this Sean Gordon Murphy Bat universe, right? And I think by the title alludes to that, Curse of the White Knight. And that's literally alluding to a specific historical construct of this universe with the Wayne family within Gotham City, and the backstory of the Wayne family, which is what this story dives deeper into, switching between the past and the present tense quite often throughout the 8 issues. And having a main antagonist in Azrael that helps connect those kind of dots. So I did really enjoy that because I am an Azrael fan, and I enjoyed seeing him play a huge role in this particular story. Huge, just might be even understatement. So yeah.
And this Batman story than he has in anything other than Nightfall ever. Like
pretty much, yeah. This is one of his biggest roles.
Yeah, he's never
in a Batman story.
Obviously, this is a slightly different version of John Paul Valley, which we'll talk about as we get into it a little bit. But like, it's Azrael's a character that's probably been underused since that original Nightfall story, and they do not underuse him here. They are definitely like, this is an excellent.
Oh yeah, he creates some serious madness.
Yeah, he does.
In the storyline in this.
Yeah.
So, yes, Unruly was asking. It is White Knight, then Curse of the White Knight. And my guess is, based on the way this ends, there's at least going to be a trilogy.
It's got to be.
At least. And then, I believe he now has his own imprint or something. His own world on DC Black Label with other writers creating their own titles. So,
Murphyverse?
Yeah, Murphyverse, yeah.
We'll get to when we get into spoilers later, so there will be spoilers. So if you read this,
impossible to talk about this without spoilers.
Yeah, it's impossible to actually talk about it without having spoilers. And it'll be interesting how they construct the universe, because he's made some very strong rules about if you die in this universe, the characters aren't coming back.
Right.
let's just say people die.
A lot of people die.
One or two.
Yeah.
One or two. What's going on, Matt? Thanks for joining us. I know you got a show coming up here later. What's going on, Andy? Thank you.
What's up, guys?
So usually we start with the art. So Sean does he does the art. He does have I'm not sure how much Matt Hollingsworth does like in this, but he does have
Hollingsworth is the colorist.
That's what I thought. Hollingsworth just does the color, and Murphy does all the art and the writing.
Murphy does the pencil, the layout, pencils, inks, and the words, the writing.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he puts a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
I will say, like we were talking before, you mentioned like before we went backstage that you actually liked the art this time better than in White Knight. You want to talk about that just for a second?
Yeah, and so the other thing I was saying as well, just as a caveat for anybody that is watching, I know absolutely zero about art. I don't know anything about how like certain colors are supposed to go together. All I remember is from elementary school that like, what is it, red and green are complementary colors, I think, or something along those lines. But the thing that I liked about the art, especially the coloring of this run, was that I don't know, it just seemed to fit with the reddish yellow, the fiery theme that kind of carried through the entire run versus the ice theme that seemed to carry through the first White Knight run. With
I think that's
grays
consistent with
Azrael's
involvement.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like you look at the splash page of Azrael right there. Let me make myself a little bit bigger.
I know I'm just showing the covers, but
yeah,
I'm not going to take the.
I'm just kind of like I just want to show like his art, like of Azrael and that flaming sword, is just.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
Ridiculously good, and so here I'll go back to the thing, but yeah, Kylie's been showing all the covers and the cover art. I honestly think like the A and B covers on this, like the 16 covers for a series, I think are as consistent. We do the covers later, but I think it's a consistent group of just all of them are good. I don't know that there's.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely want to track down the B covers that I am missing. I only have the B covers to issues 4, 5, and 7. The other ones.
So I actually, like I said, when I originally bought it, I just bought the A's. That's what I was pulling. I actually went back and I was hoping it'd be here by the time we did the show. I actually bought a lot of all the B covers, so that's on its way.
Nice.
So I will have both covers. So I'm looking forward to that, like adding that to my collection. Hey TJ, what's going on? Bake the Snake dropped.
Hey, what's up, TJ Bake?
Yeah. So and just real quick, I guess it only just popped into my head when I was talking about the fiery theme with this run versus the icy theme, with the icier colors from the first run. And I mean, Mr. Freeze was not technically the main bad guy in the first run, but he was a very central player in the entire story, which makes sense now. Like I don't know, maybe the villain for the third one will have some sort of green theme. Maybe it'll be Poison Ivy.
We really didn't see Ivy, and there is, and we can talk about that. We'll get to that story point in a minute, but like she is one of the few villains we haven't seen. The other one we haven't seen yet is Selena. We have not seen Catwoman in the Murphyverse yet.
Speaking of Selena and Catwoman, I mean, what's happening between Bruce Wayne and Harley is what is intriguing me the most about this book. Like,
that was weird.
I mean, throughout this, especially this whole second arc or this whole second act with Curse of the White Knight, the way that their relationship sort of has developed into they're teasing like a love story between Harley and Bruce, in the next book, especially where things leave off with that little heart-shaped thing on the window or whatever. I mean, that's a total romantic relationship tease right there that he's throwing in.
And really, we do get the Azrael backstory. Where this version of Azrael
in this universe,
obviously, this is a very different universe.
Where full spoiler alert is that it's not necessarily 100% clear, but it's somewhat intentional confusion that he's throwing into the storyline that Bruce Wayne actually isn't a Wayne and Azrael is a Wayne.
Yeah.
and that's kind of the shocking. It's one of the shocking sort of storyline points of this.
The main arc of this storyline is that basically, so if you've read White Knight, it basically ends off with the Joker, the Jack Napier character, or whatever, and basically Bruce is kind of doubting his role as Batman. There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes in, and when you pick this up, he's still kind of in that place. Mm-hmm. He's unsure where Batman fits. He's thinking about revealing himself, and he's unsure about what he's been doing and how successful he's been. And what comes out of this is the Joker has information and tracks down Azrael, for lack of a better term, that Azrael might actually be a Wayne, and that Bruce might actually be the descendant of someone who basically tried to kill the Waynes off and take their place. Right. That's the overarching arc here, and Bruce coming to terms with his legacy and what it means to be Batman and a Wayne.
I believe let's see if I can move the pen to the right spot. This guy on the cover of issue 6.
Edmund Wayne is so we do jump back to basically the founding of Gotham City and the first Wayne to come to Gotham, which is this guy, Edmund Wayne.
Yeah. Then
the other guy here is Bakar, who is basically this priest of Saint Dumas, which you'll remember from Azrael.
Well,
and these two partner up, and where the story basically goes is that Bakar actually, in the end, after they get control of Gotham, betrays Edmund and kills him and takes his place. And then so what you're led to believe, at least this far into what I think is going to be at least a trilogy, if not a 4 or 5 book series, I don't know how long he's going to go with this, in the Murphyverse, is that at least at this point, Bruce is a descendant of Bakar. He's not a true Wayne in that standpoint. So.
It's almost like a New Gods, like Orion and Mr. Miracle, like Dark Side, father switch. I mean, if you're familiar with that story, there is a little bit of a parallel to what's going on here to that story.
And Southern Top 10, Comics in Mind. What's going on, Kirk? Let's see, anybody else hop in here? TJ really, when his first not down, he's doing it. Well, he's really doing it in this, TJ.
Well, this is a world where people look up to, like, where like the Joker has been a hero in the previous story arc, and Batman was kind of the villain. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and Harley Quinn is not a out there kind of villain character. She's like a grounded, stay-at-home mom now, right? So,
well, sort of grounded.
Sort of grounded.
Semi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? Well, now that we were there, what do we think of as a follow-up? Where he goes with the Harley Joker story as a follow-up to White Knight? What do you think about where this goes in this book? With her being pregnant with Jack Napier / the Joker's kids, obviously her and the Joker basically having a final showdown in this. So what do you guys think about how he handled that, the fallout, the follow-up to the first one and their relationship?
I think he did a pretty good job of kind of wrapping up what was left open from the first story of the White Knight. But I still think it's weird with Harley and Batman. I don't know. It almost seems like a similar situation, very different, but similar to her situation with the Joker, where there's something that's just not quite right that's going on, it seems like, even though in this case neither of them is really doing anything wrong, if that makes sense.
No, I would agree with that, because she even says as much. There's a scene where basically, when they're talking about it toward the end, and that she doesn't want him to lose like, not that they're together necessarily, but obviously they've become very much friends. And if anything, she's become his confidant in the absence of Alfred.
Right, in the absence of Alfred, in the absence of Gordon, who who bites the bullet.
And Gordon, who we haven't got to that part of the story.
We haven't even mentioned that yet, but we lose him.
She's become his confidant, and basically, so they're basically, teasing that there's potential romance or future romance going on between the two of these. But she even says that, maybe there is something wrong with her, that she's dependent on dark men and, and that kind of stuff. So she acknowledges that her starting to fall for Bruce is not healthy, just like it wasn't healthy when she was falling for the Joker. So she's not completely unaware of her weaknesses. Hey, Gore Vidal, what's going on?
Yo, what's up?
So, yeah. So do we want to get to probably in a lot of ways, if you thought in the first one it was shocking that the Joker became a hero, I think the way and how quick what happens to Gordon in this is maybe just as shocking, if not more so.
Mm-hmm.
The way
I was not expecting it. It was very sudden.
It sort of comes out of nowhere because it's set up that Azrael.
What is it on issue 3, I think, or something like that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's set up that Azrael has basically been set loose by the Joker and the elites, who are the people that are kind of behind a lot of the problems in Gotham secretly, and they've sent Azrael to basically kill Bruce, kill Batman, and replace him as Batman for the city. And unfortunately,
pretty much.
Azrael doesn't necessarily care about their plans. He's got his own plans now that he knows or believes that he's the rightful Wayne and the rightful heir of Gotham. And I'm just going to show the panels here.
Yeah, show it.
Make myself big. So he comes and catches Gordon coming out of the bar where he's basically promoting Montoya to be the new commissioner because they've revealed that Barbara is Batgirl to the world. He captures Gordon, and let's see, we'll get to the bottom panel. You can see him basically stick the flaming sword right through the middle of Gordon's chest. And if there's any doubt...
Yeah, they don't leave any doubt.
They don't. I mean, the end of the book 3, he didn't make it. Yeah. And the book 4 pretty much starts with Barbara running out of the hospital.
Oh yeah, and the book 4 cover is just so powerful with her.
Yeah,
I love that cover. I love this cover so much.
Yeah. This one is definitely one of my favorites.
That's the one cover I wish I'd gotten.
On vengeance, basically.
Yeah, and basically does go after vengeance. And it's a very interesting, to me, it's a very interesting state because she basically hooks up with Bullock and they go to kill Azrael. They're not going to arrest him. And she actually has a moment and she flat out pulls the trigger. If we get to that moment too.
Literally.
So much harder when we don't have a trade paperback.
I know. So fall out. I'm trying to be careful. But yeah, she gets him. He says Batman because he thinks it's Bruce. And she's worse. And I don't know if you can see it, but she
May make the screen bigger.
Drags the gun, but she pulls the trigger. You see it going off. She was going to shoot him. And and Batman stops her because that's not what we do. That's not what they do. They don't kill. And he actually has the opportunity to kill Azrael right then. He doesn't.
It's funny how he changes his tune on that 3 issues later.
But he doesn't. Even though
I know he ends up not, but he threatens too hard.
Well, yeah, and but later, you're right. There's a parallel. Later, once he finds out he's not a Wayne,
he loses it.
He thinks that his vow no longer holds any credence. He thinks that it doesn't mean anything anymore. So he should just quit on being Batman and just do what he thinks he needs to do instead.
So I'm afraid that's not going to be possible either because, we didn't actually finish that part of the Harley Joker story, but I will show that moment as well. They do have a final confrontation in Arkham. Basically, Batman, Azrael, the Joker, and Harley. And
Oh, are you talking about the Menage a Trois?
Yeah, that's an unruly. And
so if you go up, I think he's talking about the Gore Vidal comment about a different story.
Oh, okay, that's a different story. Okay, but
he said so. Gore Vidal said it could be an updated Jules and Jim, the film by Truffaut. I don't know how to pronounce that. I just butchered the hell out of that, but which is a Menage a Trois.
So so we hadn't got there. She blows the Joker away. And
I liked that scene a lot.
Yeah, it was a great scene.
It really bothered me that people were looking up to the Joker in the White Knight story. That was another thing I didn't like about it. And the fact that I get it, Jack Napier was doing something else, but he was still the Joker as well.
Yeah.
And Joker never gets what's coming to him, ever. In every single story ever written, never gets what's coming to him, with a couple of exceptions. And now
Kenny, you might want to go read that last issue and then come back real quick, or just watch the rewind, because we're spoiling everything.
Yeah, we're definitely spoiling everything. But and Unruly says the Joker dies too. Well, not just the Joker. In issue 5, Azrael, when he puts on the new bat suit, which is freaking awesome. It really is awesome. It's a new costume, yet it's a really sweet homage to that 90s as Batman Azrael look.
Yeah.
And he basically goes to break the Joker out of Arkham, and if I can find the right panel, he doesn't pull any punches on the other villains as he's breaking the Joker out. So basically, if you can see sweet panel with him in that costume. I'll make myself big again.
Yeah, I think that's what, issue 6, right?
Issue 6. No, issue 5. Right at the end of issue 5.
Oh, issue 5.
Yeah, right after because it's issue 4 we said that he kills. No, issue 4 is when Batgirl's going after him.
Yeah.
And then in issue 5 is when he just goes ham on all of Arkham and maybe not Arkham, but all of the villains of Gotham, pretty much.
Almost all the villains bite it in this, and actually earlier in that issue, he has a fight with Bane that ends
with the severed. Yeah, that was awesome.
That ends poorly for Bane.
I thought that was issue 6 for some reason. I don't know why.
No, that's 6 is the issue where the final showdown in Arkham between Harley and Joker, and so that all happens in issue 6, and then
I want to say that issue 6 is also where we see or maybe it was issue 7, where we see what really happened back in the whatever 1600s or whatever it was.
So he finds out. Well, no, it might be 6 and 7. We get some of that in both, I think. But he finds out because he goes to Jason Blood. He finds out about basically some of the backstory, and then after
that creepy, whatever that creepy scene was. Was that in what building was that? That building had some sort of significance, right?
I thought that was part of the I thought that was down the well or something at the Wayne Mansion. If you're talking about where he found the scrawling on the wall,
that's in Arkham. But
that's in Arkham. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yeah. So AC Wood, what's going on? Rod just freaking jumped in. Thank you.
What's up, guys?
Never gonna happen on my channel.
Burke's here. What's up, Burke?
So that will never happen on my channel.
Nope, it's a Power Ranger free zone.
Hey, Mickey, what's going on? I am too old for that, and I never had interest in those. So we've talked about a lot of stuff. We kind of anything else story wise, big points.
Well, I think we got to cover the end of it, or at least what the cliffhanger is, I guess.
That is correct, Rod. That's when I was a kid.
Because not only at the end of issue 7 does Bruce Wayne reveal to Gotham that he is Batman, which, everything counts in this universe, right? So you can't undo that.
No.
So now everybody knows Bruce Wayne is Batman. On top of all these deaths and everything, everybody already now knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And that he, as Bruce Wayne as Batman is going to go after Azrael to save the city, right?
And he's he's not just telling them though; he's asking for their cooperation, their help from the elites, from Gotham's most poorest people, from everyone who's been looking up to Jack Napier and what he did in the previous story, and then to, I think, even Azrael at one point, just because he was, for lack of a better term, taking out the trash of Gotham with finality, which Batman has never been able to do. They always come back.
Yeah. So
they finally
he's hell bent on actually killing Azrael, and Dick Grayson basically has to talk him down, right? Like, Dick Grayson has to have that whole like sentimental like, "You're my father, Bruce," kind of scene.
And that is in the last book. I'm going to show the moment where he reveals himself real quick, and then we'll talk about So he basically cuts into a live broadcast on everything. He's talking about fighting Azrael, and then the very next page, like, he reveals himself, and he basically asks for Gotham to help him by staying out of the way. Stay off.
Yeah, like standing down, basically. Let me go do this.
Let me go get him. And and then the last book, which I also think, like, the A cover on is pretty sweet. Like,
they
have their final showdown. And he's going to kill him. He's basically what he stopped Barbara from doing earlier in the story, he is going to do. And Dick tries to talk him down, and you see like a moment, like when he's going after him in the car, like where he's remembering Alfred and Gordon and other people that like, where he like basically starts to hesitate. What it means to be a Wayne, what it means to be like who he is.
Yeah, he has a quick like, It's a Wonderful Life kind of like 2 pages, Yeah.
And
Murphy is having the time of his life writing this.
Oh, yeah. They basically told him there's no rules. I mean, do what you want.
Well, there's one rule, though, as with all Black Label now.
Yeah.
We won't get into that stuff, but there's one rule.
But as far as like what he's doing with the characters, he's pretty much gotten to do whatever he wants. I mean, he's made a ton of changes to what you traditionally think of. In this story, Jason Todd was the first Robin. Like Dick Grayson's younger. Like there's a lot of things about these characters that have changed. But he's telling a really compelling, interesting story, at least to me. You're laughing about something. What did they say?
Just what Unruly saying. Yeah, that would be the one rule. At least that was my assumption.
Rick was
talking about.
Yeah, that was
what Backseat was saying.
So, hey, Mark, what's going on, man? So
I mean, but he does eventually track Azrael down, takes him down. And then still has to turn himself in as a vigilante.
He does turn himself in, which is like people are still like trying to talk him out of it. Harley tries to talk him out of it. Dick and Barbara try to talk him out of turning himself in. Even Montoya tries to like, what are you doing? But he does. Like,
Harley even like gets in the like transportation vehicle and like basically hijacks it and
it's good.
Like, let's go on the run.
And he refuses.
No.
And we get like all this leads to me, which obviously is setting up part 3, the final reveal on the last page. So basically, if you read White Knight, he thought Jason Todd, the Joker, had killed Jason Todd, Robin, and turned to find out he didn't. Like, but Jason Todd just left and never came back.
Yeah.
And at the end, the soldier comes to talk to him while he's in prison. That he's supposed to be helping Montoya, like, make sure he can't escape. And he's like, why am I here? He ultimately says, why do you bring me here? Because nothing can hold you. And here, let me make this big.
And it's cool because, like, 8 or 9 pages before that, Jason is mentioned during that whole It's a Wonderful Life segment or whatever.
Yeah.
So you kind of have Jason Todd in your brain for, like, a second, like 10 pages before that. So it doesn't come as a complete shock.
And you see the name on the name tag. The soldier Jason Todd.
So Red Hood Batman or some sort of new Batman, maybe while Bruce is in prison. You know, I don't know.
There's definitely going to be something new coming. There's clearly going to be a part 3. He's gonna let other people kind of play in his universe and tell some side stories. But he's clearly got a plan for a bigger, like, probably going to be at least, like I said, at least 3 or 4 part tale here.
It has to be like.
Yeah, and
it's still building. It feels like
it's still building. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although he did trim the herd about how far he can go in this book. Like, there's not used anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, I could see him doing like maybe Jason Todd taking over
prequels.
for a run, and
you could do some prequels.
Maybe even Batgirl or Duke taking over for another one later on.
Yeah,
or something. I don't know.
What I'd seen when he talked about the Murphyverse, and basically he's going to have editorial control, but other writers and artists are going to be taking side stories.
Right, like what Hickman's doing with the X-Men.
Yeah, but he's already talking about
cool.
Like somebody is going to there's going to be a Batgirl story, there's going to be a Nightwing story that other people are going to tell, probably. So,
awesome.
Oh yeah, Kenny St. Murphy's podcast co-host. That's a great podcast, by the way. If you haven't checked out his podcast, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I've got too many YouTube channels to watch. I can't keep up with podcasts too.
I
know. We do see the twins. Yes, they are like as babies, obviously.
Yeah, babies.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, I could absolutely see something with them down the line.
Oh yeah, I mean, yes, he killed a lot of characters in this, but there's still a lot of ways he could go in this during the.
I mean, the Bat Family has like 20 people. He only killed off like 8. So.
Well, yeah. Oh, I love those 8-bit things. We hadn't talked about this yet, but
I guess if there was one thing that I would have to harp on with this whole Murphy stuff, this whole Murphyverse, is that he's relying upon twisting your already built-in, your built-in emotions about certain villains and certain heroes, and twisting what your pre-existing, expectations are for those characters, and his whole shtick is doing that. And what I would like to see in like part 3 or 4, or some of these other writers creating stories in the universe, is like some more original stuff, like some more, like, not that this isn't original, it's very original, but it's still all a twist on characters you already know, and kind of go in the opposite direction with those characters, right? Yeah. I mean, I think it's cool that if there were new villains or something, introduced as part of this, that can be unique to this universe, and that's the one thing that is like missing right now from these stories.
I would agree with that, because he really hasn't introduced.
He hasn't.
What he's done, he's taken the Joker and he's given you a different version.
Right. He's what's it called? He's subverting your expectations or your existing understanding of characters, basically.
Based on what it seems like he's trying to do with the whole Murphyverse, though, I think it's a good thing that he hasn't introduced new, at least major anybody yet, because he's building. He's kind of doing what Hickman did with House and Powers, where he's kind of moving the timeline, shifting it over to the side to create a whole new world. And I think it's better for him to delay introductions of new characters and just put his own twists onto the ones we already know beforehand.
So Unruly, obviously having not read this, he has not went out of Gotham yet. We have not seen.
Yeah, it's been pretty.
Metropolis. We have not seen any of the other DC non-Gotham characters yet. That doesn't mean he's not going to go there. It means we just haven't seen him yet.
Hey, what's up, Arsenio?
Hey, what's going on, Archimus? So, so he is very much stick to Batman. I did find it was very interesting, like the one, and he kind of went out of the way to.
I think what Kenny's saying makes sense. He's saying Neo Joker was new for the series,
True.
Yes and no, because it was also just a way to explain why there are two different Harley Quinns. You know what I mean? It was like half of a new character, but really it was like another twist, another. It was another subverting your understanding of a character like Harley Quinn.
Basically, is what he did was he took the two sides of Harley, of the crazy, like, manic Harley and Dr. Harley Quinzel, and he basically split them into two characters.
Yeah.
To a certain degree. And, like, that's what we got. And obviously, we see the one thing.
I thought that was kind of smart and, like, funny in a way.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things I liked about the White Knight book.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite parts of White Knight is that the way he handled that. And the one thing we don't see here is we do not see Marion Drews in this whole story. We do see that gosh dang it, what's his name? The Mad Hatter go to find her when they're breaking out of Arkham.
I completely forgot about that part.
I would have forgotten if I hadn't reread it yesterday.
So you reread that part too? Yeah.
Yeah, I reread the whole thing yesterday. So and like I had totally forgotten about that. And then I was like, oh. So it does make me feel like potentially we will see her again in the third part. But
that'll be cool.
Rather see him in continuity bat title. You know, he did a thing I read where he was talking about that, and he was like, because somebody was asking about that, and he's like, as of right now, they're letting me do whatever I want with Batman. Yeah. Why would I do an in continuity title? Like, so I see where he was coming from because he is doing an excellent job, but he doesn't have
a editor riding his back on it.
No, he's getting to do what he wants. Yeah. So you're gonna be, as long as they've given him this verse, as long as he's allowed to play in his own little playground, I don't think you're gonna see that. It is its own universe. Basically, he even refers to it as the Murphy verse when he talks about the DC team, like, do what he wants. So,
right. It's not like, and Black Label is interesting because it's not even like the Black Label titles line up with each other.
No,
it's like they're all their own Elseworlds.
It's basically Black Label has become Elseworlds. Like the old DC Elseworlds. That's what Black Label is at this point. And but it's cool to have continuity within one writer's contribution to Black Label, you know.
I think that's pretty cool. And the fact that his titles are now technically getting their own continuity because they're bringing on other writers. Are they actually stamping that with like another imprint besides Black Label?
I don't know if they're going to or not. I assume they're going to do something to let you know that it's part of this.
That's related, yeah.
Yeah, that it's related. But yeah, I don't know. Hey, Perry, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's up, Perry?
So, I mean, we talked about this a little bit when we talked about White Knight. I want to go. You guys got any other major story points you're gonna?
I think we covered the story.
You got anything else?
I don't think so.
So I want to go back to like his designs of the characters. Like we talked about his art overall, but what do you guys think about like the way he designs his character? Like it's look for Azrael in this, both before the bat suit and after.
I mean, I love it. Like just even Joker, like right off the bat, and the A cover to issue 1. I mean, because he was more Jack Napier and less Joker in the previous series, but I really like the Joker character.
He really establishes. You know, we get a few glimpses of Napier in this one, but it's mostly Joker in this one.
Right, and Azrael character design I love also in this. It's a more. I mean, it's kind of like a more Bane-ish style, like bulkiness to the design that but I actually think it works. I think it works very well.
I don't disagree with that, Seawood. I do wish DC would do a little better job on some of their main stuff, but I'm enjoying this. We have never talked. I have not read the Von Fries yet.
I have that. It's in my like to read. I need to read these books short box. I got
to. It was in the stack of the B covers that I ordered. They also had the Von Fries, so I have it coming, but I have not read that yet.
What's that one?
It's a one shot that's part of this. That's, I guess, Dr. Freeze.
So like Mr. Freeze and all that kind of stuff. So he does a one shot on Von Freeze. I'm not sure exactly.
I don't know all the details of the story.
Yeah, I don't know all the details. I did see it come out. I didn't grab it at the time, but
I totally missed that one.
So, well,
I'm a big fan of all the character designs. I don't really have any complaints on it.
Yeah, I will say, like, initially when I read White Knight, I had a little. It took me a while to get. I didn't particularly like his Batman. I like most of the rest. I didn't particularly like the Batman with high collar and everything, but it has grown on me.
I like it.
Yeah, I agree with you, JP. I didn't really like it at first, but it's grown on me. But I think out of all of them, though, I like his Azrael. His armored up Azrael the best of all his character designs.
Yeah.
I mean, that Joker cover's fine.
That Joker is sweet.
And all these B covers, like the difference in the vibes of the B covers, like these B covers almost have a very like movie poster vibe to them, and that's what I really dig about them.
Yeah, they are sweet.
The guy's super talented. He does his own B covers. You know what I mean? It's impressive.
The A covers definitely seem to be a bit more, I guess, gritty. Like, I mean, come on, cover 8, issue 8.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the A covers are very much linked to the story, whereas the B covers are sort of character profile poster kind of things.
Well, do you guys have a favorite? I mean, we haven't. I mean, that is one of the things that we usually discuss. I mean,
yeah. So favorite cover. You want to do favorite overall, or you want to do favorite?
I don't know. It's hard to do because I don't have all the B covers. I do like that number 8 B cover with the Joker on it, which I don't have. No. But I would say this is probably my favorite A cover. Is issue 4, the Barbara Gordon, and then without having all the B covers, I would say the Harley one, issue 7, is my favorite of the B covers. I guess
it's shown in the back of
that's the B cover for issue 8, which I also really like. So, but it's honestly hard to choose because there's so much fire here in these covers.
There's a ton of good ones. The A cover, I would either go with. It's hard. I'm just looking at it right now, and I'm trying to I'm changing my mind as I look. Probably, you guys know me. Like, I have a weakness for the Bat. I would probably say the Batgirl one as well, but just to be different.
Which one? The other one?
For the A covers, I'm talking about
the A covers. Yeah.
Yeah. But I will. This one with
that one's so good.
Purple and him swimming like when he's investigating the old village that's underwater now, and yeah, I think that one is just a really good cover.
It's crazy because he pulls that much heat on the A cover, and then he brings out a Batgirl for that issue B cover, which is insanely good. Also, this is one of my favorites too of the whole run.
I would say that's probably my favorite B cover with the Harley being there. But yeah,
it's so good, man. All of these are good.
Love, his design for Batgirl when she's in the Batgirl costume as opposed to the GTO thing. That's maybe my favorite Batgirl costume period. But yeah,
the GTO uniforms. I didn't like the GTO uniforms. That part of the character design I wasn't a huge fan of. I don't know, it just didn't really make sense
Alfred
to me.
One, this Alfred one's pretty cool too. Yeah. The Gordon one. Do you have the Gordon one? The Gordon B cover.
That one. It's on the.
That's the issue he dies, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can.
So I thought that one was pretty cool too. I think he's smoking a cigar or something in it.
Yeah, that's the one. That's 3. Yeah.
He's got a pretty cool look to him on that one.
A little closer. Keep going. There you go. Yeah,
full screen him. Yeah, that smoking cover. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that is a sweet Gordon cover.
That's fire.
I mean, all these covers are fire.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think the B covers would look fantastic, all framed up next to each other, all the character designs.
And, he is just. I really when I first saw his art for White Knight. I was like, I don't know, but it has grown on me so much. I really love it now. I just Yeah, I've fallen in love with his art and his style and the way he draws these characters.
Me too.
It's so good to me.
So good that you cut his line at C2E2. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I totally remember that.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. Most people probably heard that story that are in this chat, but maybe not. If you did, he was at C2E2, and I went and like my issue 1, I got signed, and then I got my because I wasn't getting it slabbed. I got my trade to White Knight signed by him. So I like walked up and I said like he was gonna be back in 5 minutes or whatever, and the guy's like, yeah, he'll be back in just a couple minutes. Just come back then, you can get a signature. I was like, okay. So I walked away, and I came back just as he walked up. And they were talking for a second. He see me standing there. He's like, yeah, here, let me get your signature. He signed my book, and I like walked away. Like I was in and out in a second. No big deal. Well, they were like, you totally cut the line. I'm like, what line? There was nobody standing there. Well, there was a line set up like back away from his booth because he was on the end. So like across the little walkway, there was like 30 or 40 people. To get his signature, and I totally just walked up as he walked up and was like, "Hey!" So
it wasn't an intentional cut.
It was not an intentional cut. He offered.
That's awesome.
So yeah, but
that would have been a good hour, dude, waiting on that line.
Yeah, it was at least an hour. Like it was at least an hour. So. I did. I don't know. I didn't actually mean to, but I totally did. Literally right place, right time. Yeah. So, all right. We've talked about your cover. So where would this rank for you on Batman stories? And
man. It's tough.
It's hard. Brand new. You've only read it the once. Like, it makes it hard. I'm looking for my list, and I apparently didn't set them somewhere where I could find them this time.
You know, like...
of what we've read.
It's kind of cheating, but it's almost like wherever White Knight is on the list, I kind of put it either right after it or at the same spot in a sort of cop-out kind of way because, because it does still feel like it's all part of the same story. It's not like you can go say, oh yeah, Curse of the White Knight, like what a better story than White Knight. I don't know. It's still all the same story to me. It feels like a volume. It doesn't even feel like a volume 2. It feels like just the next 8 issues of his story. So
yeah,
I don't know. And I don't remember where I last left off with White Knight on my list, but it was pretty high up. I feel like it was creeping into my top 5, if not in that 5th kind of spot for me. So so combined, it might bring the whole story. It might elevate the whole story up on my list. But if I do have to separate them, probably put them side by side.
Sorry, I'm looking for my list of stories, and I can't find them.
No worries. You don't need that, dude.
So anyway, but I would kind of agree with that. To me, it probably slides in right behind White Knight.
Yeah.
Which I think right now I have, for me, of what we've read, it's year 1. It's
Long Halloween, Hush.
Long Halloween. I have White Knight ahead of Hush. I think
I have White Knight ahead of Hush now.
Hush doesn't hold up as well for me. Like the art is still fantastic, but the story doesn't. There's too many holes.
Well, Long Halloween has a lot of holes too, but that I can't get that one down too far.
Yeah.
Though. I just love it.
And yeah, I don't know that it's not my 3rd of what we've done. Like White Knight's not the 3rd of what we've done, and this would be 4th. I'll be honest. I think it slides. Like I go back and forth on this and Court of Owls.
Mm-hmm. I have Court of Owls ahead of this, but
I think I have this slightly ahead of Court of Owls at this point. But that's me. What about you, BackSeat?
That's combined, right? Not this isolated from White Knight.
No, I would have White Knight on its own, slightly ahead of Court of Owls, and this to me would slide in right between them. Like this, if anything, this helps bump White Knight slightly further ahead of Court of Owls. Like,
okay,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It
makes sense. It's not where it is on the list for me. I would still say my top top end of what we've covered before is Year One, Long Halloween, Court of Owls, Black Mirror, then White Knight / this. So you would say this is probably 5 or 6 for me, I guess.
Okay, I would put this, like, for me, my top 5 would be, of what we've done, would be Year One, Long Halloween, White Knight, this, Court of Owls, then it'd be like Black Mirror, then Hush, probably.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at on this. I am scoring it high.
What about Backseat? I think he said earlier he preferred this to White Knight. So.
He did say he preferred it. Where would you put this kind of in your? You don't have to rank it compared to us, but where would you put this in terms of a Batman story, Backseat?
I'm trying to think of the different stories I've read. I'm much newer to comics than either of you or probably most of the community, but I'd say combined, they're at least in the top. They're definitely in the top 10. I'd say for me, this one's slightly ahead of White Knight. I'm trying to think, off the top of my head, the ones that I'd put ahead of it are Year One. I really liked Under the Red Hood a lot.
Still got to read that to cover it.
I actually finished that last week.
Oh, nice.
Long Halloween is definitely in my top 5. I really liked Dark Victory. If you guys haven't read that, it's kind of a follow-up.
It is Long Halloween. Yeah. We have not for a show, but
I agree with what you guys are saying on Hush. The very first time that we meet, I can't remember his name, but Bruce's old friend, I instantly knew that he was going to be the big bad.
Yeah.
It was not a very well hidden twist to me. So that kind of dropped it down a couple levels. And then I'm having Court of Owls. I also really liked. I've got a bunch of trades over on the wall. I can try and use that. I think that might be at least most of the ones that I'd rank ahead of it. So probably 7-ish for this one. Maybe. And
we never include Dark Knight Returns because we haven't covered it, but that would make my list. Yeah. Near the in that probably in that top half for me, but.
Yeah, I liked the story in Dark Knight Returns, but the art bothers me so much. I don't know what it is. I just didn't like the art in any of those.
Yeah.
And
I can see that. Frank Miller's not for everybody, but I love it.
Miller's definitely not for everybody. Some panels I love, some panels I hate of Miller. And it could be back-to-back panels almost. And,
right.
So no, I could totally.
I prefer Mazzucchelli, and Year One's always going to be number 1 on my list. I don't care. It doesn't really matter what we read. That's not moving. So, for me,
I haven't read yet, Gore, but that's one that's on my list of stuff to add to the pile at some point. So,
yeah, I do hear good things about that one. I haven't read that either.
Well, we are almost to Comic time, so we got 8 minutes left.
Cool.
You got any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
I mean, my final thoughts are just bring it on, Sean Murphy. I want to read the next part of this. I want to read the spin-offs from the other dudes that are working on this stuff. Bring on the new comics again, and this universe is the one still on my quote unquote pull list. So,
what about you, Becky?
Yeah, this made me way more excited. Well, one, I didn't know that there was a Murphyverse that was going to go beyond this until you guys mentioned it, and so that made me more excited for Murphyverse. And this story made me a lot more excited for Murphyverse for the reasons that we have already discussed.
Nice. Yeah, me too. I'm if he's writing it and it's Batman related, or if it's related to this story, I'm probably going to pick it up. At least at this point, this has been so good. It's been easily one of the better. These two stories have easily been toward the top of what I've read recently in terms of comics, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Sure.
So that's our breakdown of White Knight. You guys got anything you want to pitch and talk about on your channels coming up or just released before we get out of here? Backseat, you want to go first? You got anything coming out?
Yeah, go ahead, Backseat.
Sure. I actually finally do have something to plug. There we go. On Thursday night on Geek Aficionado's channel, myself, Los, and Geek Aficionado are going to do a triple CGC unboxing. I got my wife actually to tape over the grades on all the slabs, so I still don't know what they are. I believe that Los and Aficionado do, but I believe that all three of us are also looking to sell most, if not all, of the books eventually. So if people want to go check that out, I have yet to do a live CGC unboxing. My first video on my current channel, I was hoping to do live, but it didn't exist long enough yet for me to go live with. And then I might, I've recently, in the past month or so, started doing comic debriefs, which are kind of a deep dive into some stories that a lot of people haven't read, I believe. Maybe they have, I don't know. But if anyone wants to go check that out, my channel is under the same name.
Yeah, so BackSeatDriver5280 is his channel name. Normally, I would tell you to type in the chat. One of my moderators is still in there, wants to put it in because I don't have YouTube open. And put his link in. I would appreciate it if somebody would drop that in real quick. If not, it's in the description. So I do have it in the description of this video. I almost forgot that I did that earlier. Hey, also then, thanks for joining us. Gray Matter. I don't think I shouted you guys out earlier. Kavi, what do you got going on this week?
Yeah, so funny that Backseat Driver mentions that CGC unboxing on Thursday night. Jimmy actually invited me to be the color commentary guy while these other three guys opened their boxes.
I like that.
So I'm going to bring my, colorful color commentary personality to that CGC unboxing.
Yes.
But so that should be fun. But on my channel tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, Original Art Hour, the next episode of the art show with Alec, White Whale Comics, joining me, sharing some art from our collections and talking about art for an Original Art Hour. So that's tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern, my channel.
Nice. So I'll have the look back will come out again Saturday. I've been staying consistent with those. I'm trying to get a Let's Collect. I don't know if I'll get it out this week or not. I have another one of those I'm working on. And then I would guess at some point, and hopefully the not too distant future, this is probably going to be our next book for this series. This is one we've been talking about doing forever.
Yeah, now I feel way behind that you've already read it.
I did. Well, I was looking for something to read, and last week I'm like, I'm just going to knock it out, so I'll be ready whenever we finally get this done. So that is probably going to be the next Chronicles book. We'll see when we can get that lined out. Matt the Boy Who Had Seven, Comic Geek McD have been wanting to do this with us if we could ever get the timing to work. So that will hopefully come in the next 2 weeks to a month sometime. Next month. We'll get to it. So we're a little over. We average slightly more often than once a month on these.
Yeah, something like that.
So we're at 14 episodes. We've been doing this for 12 months. So there you go.
There you go. So, you guys do the math.
So
that's 1.125 episodes a month.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get to that sometime soon. I want to thank everybody for watching us. Thanks for joining it, and go watch Comigories coming on Matt the Boy Had Seven in like 2 minutes. Thanks everybody. We will catch you later.